Hey guys, Hawka here, and welcome back to the HLTV rankings recap for the 2nd of September 2019. So again, I've left this one at very last minute. I've had a busy week, so before the major starts up again, let's quickly run down what happened in this past week. Diving straight into the top 10, we see Ents overtaking Astralis with a good qualifier stage from them. The weird thing with this team though is that we know that Ents are going to be making a roster move after the major, so they'll probably drop off whatever result they get, but it's still cool for them to get up to 3rd in the world. G2 overtaking FaZe, thanks to some pretty good results from them throughout the major, whereas FaZe kind of had a tournament to forget. The only team they beat were Crazy, which isn't exactly the standards you expect from a top 10 team. Speaking of Crazy, if we look over on the right side of things, you can see them moving up a couple of places while NiP moved down due to their pretty poor performance at the major. They didn't really gain any results there. And obviously one of the biggest movers this week is Avangar, moving up 5 places thanks to making top 8 at the major. And a key point to make is that the only points that have come through from the major so far are in the form category. So that's only 20% of the total points available coming through. And that means that Avangar could definitely rise even further next week once they get the points in the achievements and the recent LAN category when the major is actually over. Other than that, Heroic made another roster move, so they moved down a couple of places because they lose some of their points they got with their last roster. And then Fnatic are in a similar situation, also moving down 3 places to 19th place. It's very strange to see Fnatic so low in the rankings. With this being an end of the month breakdown, we also have a more detailed analysis of where each team is getting its points from. Again, you have to remember the points in the achievements and the LAN category for the major have not come through yet. So these are suspect to change next week, but let's look at what we've got right now. So Liquid remain perfect in all 3 categories. The closest anyone is to challenging though is actually Ents in the form category. They're not quite as far behind as maybe they've been in previous weeks. Again though, Ents are going to be making that roster move after the major, so it seems kind of unlikely that Liquid will lose that 1,000 points anytime soon. Outside of that though, if you look at teams like Ents, who are relying quite a lot on their form for their points, that means in the next few months, they could be susceptible to dropping off. If their form decreases, then they're going to lose those points pretty quickly. Same kind of goes for NRG, and the same definitely goes for Crazy. Their form is almost, 4th best in the world, but they do not have the points from the LANs to back it up. So Crazy need to make sure they get those LAN results under their belt, and I'm sure the result from the major will help them slightly, but they're either going to have to keep beating all these teams, which is not going to be easy, or they're going to have to get some good LAN results to make sure they keep up their 13th place. And then finally, quick shout out to Dream Eaters, who were the biggest gainers in the rankings this month. I think for Dream Eaters to crack the top 20 is a really cool feat for them, and they definitely deserve it. I think next week, I'm kind of expecting some of the teams at the major to just be able to rise up a little bit. So teams like Renegades and Avangar, who are down there in 15th and 16th, but have made the playoffs of the major, they should gain some points. They could probably move up towards the top 10. I find it hard to see Furia staying in the top 10, considering they haven't played any games at this stage. They haven't been gaining points, whereas almost all the teams below them have been picking up results. But it definitely feels like teams such as Avangar and Renegades are probably the most underrepresented on the rankings right now, considering how well they're playing at the major. You'd expect them to move at least above NiP and MIBR in the next week, just based on the eye test alone. Whether that will translate in the rankings though, we will have to wait and see. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. That's going to be us done for this week. I can't wait for the major to get back underway. Just a few hours to go now. So thanks for watching and get hyped for the major. See you next time.